into research why people who commit acts of violence sometimes have a greater effect on society than those with a good influence, using examples from Clockwork Orange and V for Vendetta. So when I was thinking about this, I originally was going to do the classical music one because I wrote my little paper that we put on the wall on that. But as I was doing this, what I know, what I want to know, I think that it might be this one up here, but was about that, or was about what I ended up writing as my intention. So what I was thinking in my head was kind of Hitler had like a huge influence on the whole world, but he didn't actually do anything good really. So I was thinking about how he had like that huge effect on it, but sometimes people that have good things don't have as big of an effect as that. So
So what do you think like there was like some really good people that like didn't have like effect?
Well, I've been trying to think of examples of people that I could use because I thought of Hitler and I was trying to think of something that I could contrast him with.
Mother Teresa.
And I thought of Mother Teresa, but
the whole point of this topic is that they're less notable anyway,
Yeah.
so it's harder to think of them. You're like,
Which makes sense.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Well, is it that they're less notable, or we have more of a fascination with those that are on the evil side?
Because you learn about Hitler in school and like what he did in the world, but you don't really learn about Mother Teresa unless you have theology, which we do. But like if we went to public school, like we wouldn't really hear that much about Mother Teresa if we did even at all.
I think also like the bad stuff can seem like it has like more impact on you, or like it relates to you more. Like when everyone was murdered in like Germany, like that's a huge thing. But when someone does something really good and you're like, oh great, these people got food, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Another thing,
yeah,
yeah.
Like the good should be
Katy
happening,
said,
the bad should not.
yeah,
Like
like,
what happens.
like,
Yeah.
Ooh. That's good.
Oh, you're right.
like,
Oh, I forgot the paper.
it's really fun.
Oh, you can write on this. Write it down, Claire.
Like
Sketch.
sketch.
Write it down.
I feel like, like
The good should
kids-
be happening, the bad should not.
the good things that we do, like feeding a kid in Africa, like people in Africa are always gonna need food, like they're always gonna need that. But like the bad things, like killing like millions of Jews, like you can't just like bring them back from the dead and like pretend it never happened, you know? Like it ended.
And I think that good things that happen are more individual than bad things. Sometimes bad things can cover more people than a good deed can.
And
Good deeds are more personal than like a bad thing happening. Because like even if a bad thing, for example, like West Texas, like that affected like everybody in Texas like knew about that and like knew that like they needed help, and so it affected everyone in Texas because it was like our hearts went out to them. Whereas like something good, like us, like if we donated something to them, like people would know about that. But that because it's more like a personal thing and like a smaller thing than like as in that was like a huge deal.
I think people are like fascinated by tragedy too. Like as much as you don't want to admit it, it kind of like brings your attention. Like when you hear something on like news broadcasters, a lot of times focus on like the really exciting stories, and the exciting stories are like when bad things happen, and so it's kind of like sensationalized sometimes.
Yeah, I guess that goes back to kind of what Rex said about good things are supposed to happen, but bad things aren't.
It's like the metaphor of like watching a train wreck where like everybody wants to watch when the train like crashes, but nobody's gonna watch a train just going fine.
That's true.
and nobody wants to
So you don't want to be in the bad thing.
yeah.
But you'd rather watch it. Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of like the bad things that happen, they have like a story with them, like there's a reason, that there's something behind it, or like there's like a beginning, middle, and ending kind of thing, but like with a good thing that happens, it's like this person did the good thing,
Yeah,
and then
you're
it
right.
ends up bad.
That's good too.
But then there's also things like good things that are established, like the walk for the cure, like everybody knows about that. You all know you walk like 60 miles to cure breast cancer or whatever, you have to raise X amount of money to do it, but then cancer is still there. Like it's a good thing benefiting like a bad thing, like trying to cure something.
Yeah.
So what is this fascination? Because Miss Hensel, you know, is a very cliched example, yet it still holds true. No one sits there and wants to watch a train, but we'll all watch the wreck.
Unless you got a thing for trains.
Is there some sort of catharsis? But is there some sort of catharsis for us as the same reason that we watch horror movies? Because we're not in it?
Yeah. So that should be part of what I have to look up.
Wow, Holland.
I like it. That's gonna be a fun thing.
Yeah, that's like a really.
Because it has to do with your like psychological things, and I guess that's what it's doing. And so for Clockwork, it's just like when the politicians were trying to get Alex to be like a symbol, but because something bad happened to him, and so like they were trying to get his bad thing to have an influence on the government, and then in B, he got all the followers of that society to follow him by doing bad things, by like blowing up buildings. And I mean, those buildings were like signs of the bad government, but still, I mean, it was still a bad deed, but to try to get a good result, or what he wanted, I guess. So I think that's, you should, when you think of like, oh, I'm gonna solve the problem by doing something good, but they're solving problems by doing things bad. So that's,
So violence can be good, or?
yeah, that's like the thing that I was like, that's what I wrote down. It was like, does that make violence okay and good? So, but that's a different question, so I'm gonna stick with this.
Wait, so do you think like that our like obsessing with violence is like overall, like, is it overall bad for us to be obsessed with violence? Would we rather be like obsessed with just good? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think we are obsessed with bad things, but doesn't discount the, I mean, we all like the good things, but I don't know. It goes back to the good things are happening, but bad things, I don't know.
Does our media play a role in this?
Yes. Just like Claire said with the news stories are like 90% things, bad things that happen, like wrecks, killings and like shootings and everything.
Rex.
What did you do?
Which does bring up a question, why doesn't the good sell?
Because you can't just be like, in other news today, nothing happened.
Yeah, because
Well, something happened.
But something would have happened. But why would something
I got it.
on the fringe, be it violent or whatever, why would that attract more than someone doing a good
because
deed?
we see like good deeds as something that we are capable of. Like we don't want to think that humans are capable of like these deeply evil things like genocide or masturbation. We want to think that we are.
I need to write it down.
I heard
Said
masturbation.
Masturbation.
He's recorded.
This is theology, guys.
Where's the Dow Part 2?
We are.
Sorry, masturbation. I really thought he was like the worst sin.
And it's all being
genocide.
Not sure how we went from genocide to that.
Neither was I.
It's apparent this part of the film won't be used.
Oh no, but it's golden.
That's a good point. Mass starvation.
That's still mass
Starvation. That's what I said.
Space then.
Just starvation.
Yes. Take a breath between the two words, please.
Just to make sure. Mass starvation.
But,
Now go ahead and continue your thought because she's writing this down now.
okay.
And pick a different tragedy.
Just say genocide.
I'll just say genocide. How about that?
Thank you. In May, we'll play this back and we'll have a good laugh. But anyway.
Anyway.